So I've been building animations using GSAP for quite some time, and recently I've started using frame motion as well, and I am really enjoying using it. So in this video, I thought, why don't I teach you guys a thing or two about frame motion and how easily we could pull something that would be a bit difficult using GSAP. But in Framer Motion, it's very simple if you're using React or Next.js, because we don't really need to work with a lot of cleanups and other stuff, which we have to do when we're using GSAP. So this is a plain sort of page. I didn't want to add fancy stuff or design complicated stuff, but I wanted to make this animation pretty standard and simple. So when I refresh the page, you'd see that we have a lot of cards coming in from the top left and then coming and stacking at the bottom right. So it's a cool kind of reveal animation that you could use as. And then this is not the end. So after they come and stack at the bottom right, you can click onto the cards again, and then they would animate and then reposition themselves and then go and stack on top left. So this is what we're going to be building using Framer Motion. Now it may seem that it's very complicated, but this is very simple when it comes to motion or Framer Motion. So this is what we're going to be building in this video. The source code as well as the live link is in the description, so you guys can go and check it out. If you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, because I bring in cool stuff like this every week. So yeah, without a delay, let's get started and let's learn to build this. So here I'm in my browser, and for the explanation or the tutorial, I'm going to be using flat cards with flat backgrounds because they reduce the HTML content as well, and it becomes easier for me as well to explain you. So here, as you can see, we have one card. It seems as if we have one, but we have 10 different cards all stacking on top of each other. So this is the last one, since by default position absolute places the lastmost card or the lastmost element to the very top. So we have the last element in here, and then when I click, you can see that the card basically moves to the bottom right. So currently we don't have any animation added. We're just playing with the positioning and with React states. Now I'm just going to be showing you what we have. So I have initialized a basic React project with Vite, and I've installed Motion and Tailwind. Now what I'm doing essentially here is, so first things first, we have a container element. Now this container, even though we didn't need a container because it doesn't have anything apart from fixed and inset 0, which could have been in a flat div element as well instead of an entire component. But yeah, so we have this which covers the entire screen with position fixed and inset 0. Within this, we render multiple card components. Now for the card has a width, fixed height, absolute positioning, some roundedness, and then origin center, meaning that when we add transform animations and other stuff, the animation is going to happen from the center of the card. And then for the different colors, so we have an array with 10 different colors, and then that is what we're using to map through and then render the 10 different cards. Now the card has the color property, the color prop, wherein we're passing that specific indexed card's color. So that is how we're seeing the multiple or different colors. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. And then as for the card component, obviously since I'm using TypeScript, I have interfaces and the different types defined. You don't really need to worry about it if you're using just JavaScript. You just need to ignore this, which is totally fine. And yeah, so for the card, what we have is we have an edge, which is the 16 pixels of gap from top, left, and then bottom as well as right. So we're storing it in a variable, because in case if you want to change it, instead of changing it in multiple places, we can just change it here and then it would work in all the different places. And then we have a simple use state to trigger re-rendering. And what this has is if you have clicked, and if you have clicked, then it changes the state from false to true. And then based off that, what we do, so this is when you click, it changes the state, and then based off the state, it positions the element to the bottom right or to the top left. So initially, since it's false, it is positioned to the top left. When you click it, it becomes smaller in size, since we're playing with the width and height as well. And then it becomes smaller in size with bottom right placement. When I save, I don't need to save. I can click here and you can see that the elements are, going from top left to bottom right. Now, this is just plain React rendering the elements at different position. Now, if we want to add animation, or if you want to see it visually moving from the top left to the bottom right, using GSAP, we'd have to write a little bit. But here in Framer Motion, or just Motion, all you have to do is you'd have to add the motion.div, which makes the entire element a motion element, and you'd be able to use the various methods and functions that they have. And now what you have to do is, since the entire animation revolves around the element changing its style property from one styling to other, we can, so this is basically more like a layout animation wherein the layout of the card sort of changes. So you could add the layout prop here, and that's pretty much it. If I refresh, when you click, we see it animating. How cool is that? And now this animation also works if I click on here, which is already animated. It works from both ways. So when you click, it moves from top to the bottom right. And then when you click from the bottom right, it goes to the top left. Pretty cool. Let's add a bit of transition. We add a duration and a bit of ease. Pretty cool. Now the next thing that we're going to add here is, as you can see, we have all the different cards. Now for a user or for a viewer, they wouldn't really know if they have one card or more than one. So we need kind of that stacking effect. So for that, what we do is in our prop, so here we add an extra style prop when we're taking Y scale and then a Z index. Let's save, and in the app wherein we're rendering the different cards, so let's throw in the values, or let's add the prop that we just created in the card. So first things first, how do we add the stacking effect? So for the stacking effect, all we have to do is the cards that are behind, push them towards the top, and then shrink their size based on the index. That way we'll kind of have the, sort of stacking effect. So for that, let's let's create a variable. Let's call it stack gap, and let's have it have 5 as its value, which is 5 pixels or so. And then we add here extra style, and what we do is the Y value, or translate Y value, would be negative times index times stack gap, meaning if this is the first element which has index 0, then it won't move, so it's going to stay where it is. But if it is index 1, 2, 3, or so on, what it's going to do, based off its index, it's going to multiply with the stack gap, and it's going to translate along the y-axis to that specific value. Now, since it's a negative value, so it's going to push itself above. If it were a positive value, it would push itself downwards. The same thing would do for the scale as well, but the scale, we don't want it to be negative. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be subtracting from 1. So meaning if it is the first element, then the scale would be 1. If it is the second element, which is indexed 1, then it would subtract from 1, meaning it would be something around 0.99. All right, so that's how we calculate. And then the next one would be even lower, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's how we have the extra styling here, Y as well as the scale. And then the Z index. So what we're going to be needing is for the very first element, we want the first element to render at the very front, and then the last element to render at the very last. So what we do is, for that, we'd have to reverse the order. So we just need to change the z-index. So we take the card's length, so whatever is the length of the entire cards that we have, so we have 10, and we subtract that with the index. So if we have 10 elements, then when you subtract it with the index, it would automatically reverse the ordering. And now when you save, we won't be seeing anything because we've just passed in the props and we haven't really used it in here. So to use it, all we have to do is, so we have the extra style here, so we grab it in here as well. We destructure and we grab Y, scale, and then the index. And then what we do is we add it right here. And now when I save, you can see that now the cards are stacked. And when I click, when they go to the bottom, even then they're stacked. It's pretty nice. Now, the only issue is when they're at the very top, they're not visible. Some of the cards are getting cut off. So for that, what we have to do is we'd have to keep track of what is the maximum Y translate that is happening. And based off that, we need to change the top value. So here we are sort of hard coding to 16 pixels, meaning that either it would be bottom 16, right 16, or top 16, left 16. But what we're seeing now is with this hard coded sort of value, we have these cards getting chopped off. So we want a more dynamic value, which basically keeps track of what is the highest or translated value, so that even the last element is visible in the screen and doesn't get cut off. So for that, let's add here a stack max Y. And then here what we do is we calculate. So what we do is, what would be the highest translating value? So that would be whatever is the card's length minus 1 times the stack gap. Meaning, if we have 10 cards, then ignoring the first one, which has the index of 0, we'd have the highest index as 9. And when you multiply 9 with 5, it would be around 45 pixels. So what's happening is the card are getting pushed above to 45 degrees. 45 pixels. So what we have to do is we have to pass this value in here as a separate prop. And then we grab it here. And what we do is we use this as the top value here. So we calculate, not only we add the edge, which is the 16 pixels, but we also add the top value as now, which is 45 pixels in this case. So when you save, now you can see that we have enough spacing from top and it doesn't get chopped off. Now, the rest of the animation still works fine. Now, this entire animation is happening on click. In case if you wanted this animation to happen when the entire thing loaded, or more like a preloading animation, all you have to do is you'd have to set, I'll be grabbing here index and then the total. I'll explain you in a bit why we need this, but yeah, we'll just grab it here and let's remove this for now and let me type it here. So we have use effect, and what we do is in the use effect, basically we'll be setting the set to corner as true. And when you save, let me add here the empty braces. And when you save, refresh, you see the animation. So when you want this to animate at the very starting of the component getting rendered, then you can use a use effect and then the entire animation will play. But what you're seeing now is, the entire thing finishing up pretty quickly. We don't want that. We want everything to, animate with staggering effect, meaning all the elements should come one after the other and not like how we have it here. So for that, we have here index and then the total taken. So from the app, we'd have to pass in what is the index of the card, as well as how many total cards that we have. And then in the card component, what we do is we first add a delay. Now, the delay has the stagger effect, meaning each of the subsequent cards would start with a bit of delay. So the stagger is 0.08, and then right after that, we also send in the index of that specific card as well as the total number of cards that we're going to have. And then what we do is what I just showed you. So we'll have a use effect and we'll set the to corner to true. And now when I save, you can see the entire animation happening pretty smoothly. Now, if you want a 1 second extra right before the start of the animation, you can add here 1 and then add it to the stagger. And then initially it would wait for 1 second and then only after that it would start animating. So, you can play with this, find your sweet spot, and then have it animate. So, what we built today is a cool sort of reveal animation which you could use for your website or your application. So it could be used as a preloader, or in case if you want this to animate on click, it still works. So even with interactiveness, you can get this animation done. Now you're seeing that when I click, the animation starts with a bit of delay. The reason for that is because we have the delay here. Once you remove that, even on click, we won't be seeing the delay. So yeah, that's it for this video. The source code as well as live link will be in the description, so you guys can go and check it out. That's it for this video. Meet you guys in the next. Till then, bye bye, take care, and peace.